Today we're looking at 3 easy ways to play Deck the Halls using a simple strumming pattern or 2 easy fingerpicking patterns. Throughout this lesson, I'll be using my tenor with low G tuning. Now you can follow along just as well with high G tuning. Just keep in mind that your 4th string is 1 octave higher than mine, so the patterns will sound slightly different on your instrument, particularly the fingerpicking patterns, but they still sound beautiful with high G tuning. So let's get started by looking at how to play the chords in this song. Our first chord is F. Here we have our index finger on the 1st fret of the 2nd string and our middle finger on the 2nd fret of the 4th string. Then we have C, 3rd fret of the 1st string. Then we go to G7, and to form G7 we'll place our index finger on the 1st fret of the 2nd string and our middle and ring fingers on the 2nd fret of strings 3 and 1. Now in this song we go back and forth quite a bit between C and G7. So you can use either your ring finger for C and then slide it back 1 fret to form G7, or if you prefer you can use your pinky for C and then lift it up as you place your other 3 fingers down for G7. Try it both ways and see what's most comfortable to you. Next we have E minor. To form this chord we have our index finger on the 2nd fret of the 1st string, middle finger on the 3rd fret of the 2nd string, and ring finger on the 4th fret of the 3rd string. Then we have A minor, which is just the 2nd fret of the 4th string. And I'm going to play A minor with my middle finger because from A minor we move to D7. This is a Hawaiian version of D7. So we're covering the 2nd fret of strings 4 and 2. So I'm going to keep my middle finger in place and place down my ring finger on the 2nd fret of the 2nd string. Now one more tip I want to give you is moving from D7 to G7. To do this, starting on D7, we'll move our middle and ring fingers down 1 string from the 2nd fret of strings 4 and 2 to the 2nd fret of strings 3 and 1, and then we'll place down our index finger on the 1st fret of the 2nd string. So here's how it looks to move from D7 to G7. Next we'll take a look at our 3 patterns and how to apply them to the verses. Now keep in mind that this song has 3 verses and they're all played the same way. So in this lesson we'll focus on verse 1 and you can apply the patterns the same way to verses 2 and 3. Now you may choose just one pattern to play throughout the entire song, or you may want to alternate between patterns. Now let's take a look at our 3 patterns. Here's pattern 1, our easy strumming pattern, played on a C chord. Here we have 3 down strums on beats 1, 3, and 4. So the rhythm is 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now here's pattern 2, our first finger picking pattern, played on a C chord. Here we're picking strings 4 down to 1 with our thumb, index finger, middle finger, and ring finger. And the rhythm for this pattern is 1, 2, 3, 4. Now for pattern 3, we have another easy finger picking pattern. Here's how it sounds played again on a C chord. We're starting on the 4th string with our thumb, then the 3rd string with our index finger, and then we'll pick strings 1 and 2 together with our middle and ring fingers. And the rhythm for this pattern is 1, 2, 3, 4. Now let's look at how to play the verses. We're going to apply any of our 3 patterns to the odd numbered lines in the verses, lines 1, 3, 5, and 7. So for each of these lines, we play 2 chords or 2 patterns for a total of 8 beats. As an example, on line 1, we have 2 C chords. So using our easy strumming pattern would sound like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Using pattern 2 would sound like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then pattern 3 would sound like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Lines 1, 3, and 7 are all played the same way with 2 C chords. But line 5 is different because we start on G7 and then we go to C. So if we play our strumming pattern on line 5, it will sound like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now let's apply pattern 2 to line 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And pattern 3 on line 5 will sound like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. If you're enjoying my lessons, I would love it if you subscribe, give this video a thumbs up, and leave me a comment below. Your engagement here on YouTube and your support on Patreon are what allow me to focus full-time on my channel, creating new lessons and arrangements for you. So if you're interested in tabs or song sheets, then head on over to my Patreon page where you'll find the PDFs available for download. The link is down below in the video description. Now that we've looked at how to play the odd-numbered lines of the verses using our patterns, let's take a look at how to play the even-numbered lines and how to count the rhythm. Now let's look at how to play the even-numbered lines in the verses, lines 2, 4, 6, and 8. For these lines, you'll see that the chord names are in bold, and this means that we're either going to play one down strum, or we're going to pick all 4 strings together. Starting with line 2, we go back and forth between G7 and C 2 times. Here's how this sounds with the lyrics. So here's how we count the rhythm of line 2. We have a total of 8 beats, and we'll play G7 on beat 1, then we'll count 2, and on beat 3 we'll play our C chord, and then we'll count beat 4, and then beat 1, and then for beat 2 we go back to G7, and then beat 3 we go to C. And we hold this for beat 4. So putting this all together with the count. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. For an easier version, if you'd like, you could skip the second G7 chord. And here's how this would look. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now if you're fingerpicking the song, then here's how line 2 sounds with the count, picking all 4 strings together. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Lines 2 and 4 are played the exact same way. Here's how line 6 sounds with the lyrics. Now the rhythm for the chord changes in line 6 is the same as in lines 2 and 4, but our chords are different in this line. So we start on E minor on beat 1, and then we count beat 2. On beat 3 we go to A minor, then we count beat 4 and 1, and then we go to D7 on beat 2, and then to G7 on beat 3, and hold it for beat 4. So here's how we count line 6. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now here again for an easier version, to eliminate the quick chord change between D7 and G7, you can skip the D7 chord, playing only E minor, A minor, and G7. Here's how this would look. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And for our finger picking version, picking all 4 strings, line 6 will sound like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now our final line of the verses, line 8, is very similar to lines 2 and 4. We just start on an F chord rather than G7, and the rest of the line is played the same way as lines 2 and 4. So here's how we count this line, starting on F. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And if we're finger picking the song, then picking all 4 strings on line 8 will sound like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Next we're moving into our play along, where I'll play and sing through the entire song, and you can play along with me. Now I'm going to alternate between patterns, using a different pattern for each verse. So you can do the same, or if you'd like, you can choose just one pattern to use throughout the entire song. 5, 6, 7, 8. Deck the halls with boughs of holly, fa la 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 la. 'Tis the season to be jolly, fa la 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 la. Don we now our gay apparel, fa la 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 la. Troll the ancient Yuletide carol, fa la la la. See the blazing Yule before us, fa la 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 la. Strike the harp and join the chorus, fa la 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 la. Follow me in merry measure, fa la 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 la. While I tell of Yuletide treasure, fa la la. Fast away the old year passes, fa la la. Have a new ye lads and lasses, fa la la. Sing we joyous all together, fa la la. Heedless of the wind and weather, fa la. For more of my Christmas and holiday song tutorials, see this playlist here. Have fun practicing. Thanks for watching, and happy holidays.